Hi, welcome to Art in the Barn. This is my first video, so I'm a little nervous, but here we go. So we're going to do a really simple painting today, and this is kind of the start of the end project. So what I've done is I have taken a Arches watercolor paper, 140-pound cold press, with Aurelian yellow, permanent rose, Winsor blue, and I think that's it for the colors. So what I'm going to do is I tape it down and wet the paper to stretch it, and I don't usually use the green. I always use regular tape, because your eye will adjust to the green, and then that is going to cause you to paint differently. So you want it to be a neutral tape. So I've taped it down, and I'm trying to do this like, this was supposed to be an easy video, but of course I complicate the painting. So I'm going to try to simplify it for you. So I've used Frisket, liquid Frisket, and it's dry, so I can touch it like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take and I'm going to wet my paper, but I don't want to drench it. I want to wet it softly. I have a nice Winsor Newton brush, and I'm just wetting the sky. And it's going to look confusing at first, but at the end when we tip things the correct way, which is this way, it will make sense. But we're going to do it the fun way, and we're going to let the gravity flow with the color. So I'm just going to let that sit. So it's sitting, and we're going to use our Aurelian yellow, and I didn't draw this out because I have it in my mind, and I also kind of have a photograph I'm going off of here. But I'm doing Aurelian yellow and permanent rose, some blue, then back to your permanent rose and your Aurelian, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of an orange down there. It does its own thing. This is the first one, this is the second one, and if you can see the difference in the skies, that's because the first one sucks and the second one just gets better, and it gets better as you paint, generally speaking. So practice makes perfect. And in the beginning, when I first started painting, my first paintings, I would get really upset about my paintings not being perfect, but then I consider this a map to my next painting, and I just, over time, I just paint what I love and what I love about each painting, and try not to get down on what I don't like. Like, I don't like this water, but I'm not going to focus on that water. I'm going to focus on this water being better. So we're going to set this aside. And now this has got a nice sheen, no puddles. I can take my Kleenex, my friend. Your Kleenex is your friend. And I can just suck up any extra water there. I can even let this sink more, so I'll just paint slower. So this is my swooshing plate. And so I get my color, and then I come onto my plate and swoosh. So I'm just going to swoosh. Now, if I had color underneath this, I wouldn't be dragging my brush around. There's brush etiquette. But this is wet on wet with no color underneath, so I'm not going to be moving any paint. And I'm just putting on this color. If I have too much water, I can tap. It's looking good. Putting a nice shape in there, rinsing my brush, tapping, and then I'm going to go into a little bit of the pink, and this is permanent rose. Lovely color. These two are the most wonderful color for roses. A little bit too much water, that's okay. It's not going to be perfect because you're being filmed, so yeah, so I can tap. I have lots of time, there's lots of sheen. Tapping and into my color again. And here I go. Now this is a little bold, but that's okay. If you get a bit of green in your sky, that's fine too. I used to be like really uptight about greens in my sky, but now I've loosened up a bit about that. And this is the lovely Winsor blue. These three colors are beautiful. But it is a red, yellow, and blue, so when they come together, all three of them make a gray. And I'm trying to stay away from gray today. Let's see how we can do. I'm just going to take a little color off there. I'm coming down here, and I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm moving super fast, and normally I would go slower. But I can tip a little if I want to. Just taking any excess off there. It's a little bit wet, and at home I might be working on a separate painting at the same time. So in I come, and I'm going to go with the pink right across my frisket because it is saving my paper like that. And if you dip into your color, you should always, don't dip in and then come over here. Do a swish, because you could have a big glob of color, and you don't want that. So there we go. Just like that. I'm going to rinse my brush. Tap, tap, tap. It's all very wet. Now normally this is too wet, but because I'm here, oops, doing a demonstration, I'm going a little faster. So here I would come into my yellow, just along the horizon line. There. And I have this great color. You have to really respect it though, because it's very opaque, but sometimes it's fun just to pop it in. It's very orange. I can't remember what it's called. There, and I'm just cheating a little bit. And I can just, oops, sorry, tip away. If I was really brave, which I'm not today, I could come in with my brush and scoop out in a Kleenex and scoop out clouds, but I think maybe I'm gonna just lighten that up a bit. It's very wet. Maybe I'll pull in a little bit of blue. Kind of like, not getting carried away. I tend to get carried away. So I'm going to set this aside. And notice I have it at this angle. I don't know, I just thought it would be fun to paint at this angle today. So that will go there. And I'll keep it on an angle. And here's a new water. You don't have to get a new water. So okay. So we are now on, so we finished the sky, and we are now going on to our water. And this time I really got wet in that sky with that demonstration, and I want to lighten that up. You can paint over your boat if you want to, if it's going to be a dark boat. Doesn't really matter. So here I go. And I really do not want too much water. There we are. Where are you sailing to? Things are pretty crazy. I'd like to sail to the, I don't know, Bahamas or something. Okay, so now I'm going to take, ooh, this is a little tricky. The water I did earlier, I'm not pleased with, so I will do different water. Oops. I'm going to try it differently. The more I paint, the more I use gravity to feed my painting. So I can go right over that, like that. Isn't that pretty? Nice. And that's really nice because there's, you got your complementary colors, so our eye's gonna go there, which I think is really nice, versus see this. Although this will be nice when it's done too. I guess it's just, everybody's got a different. So that's my warm blue, and now I'm gonna put a little cold blue in there. And notice I'm not scrubbing, I'm just really dropping in color. So if you have something on one side of an object, you want to continue it a little on the other side. And again, I'm working ultra fast, so yeah, I can see that some of the sheen's going, so I'm gonna go right like this, down, and generally speaking, I paint, we're gonna go right over the boat, that's okay, from the top to the bottom. That's pretty. See the difference? And then, although some people will like that one better because everybody has their own taste. And then I'm going to come in with, this is where it's a little trickier, a little Aurelian yellow. Remembering that if my blue and my yellow mix together with the pink, I'm going to get gray, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna a little in there, and things are drying now. And just get that excess off, otherwise it'll bleed. And I think I will leave that there, and we're ready for the finished product. So I'm over here now to this one that's dry. And I took off my sail, and I'm coming to a smaller brush. I don't know what size this is, a 4. This is actually a dollar store brush, and it's from the dollar store, and it's a wonderful small brush. Shocking, because this is like a $150 brush. This is a, I don't know, 50-cent brush in a package. So you can find them. They're hard to get a really good one. So now I'm coming into, I'm gonna go a dark blue along the horizon line there. And I'll probably put my glasses on. Like this. And it's good to have a ruler, though I don't usually use one. Nice and gentle with my brush, no scrubbing. Don't go like this, because then you're lifting the paint underneath, and sometimes it doesn't matter, but then as you continue to paint and you're doing something really marvelous, like flowers that need glow, as soon as you start scrubbing, you're lifting paint underneath, and you will lose your marvelous glow in your flowers. And I'll just soften that gently. There, and I love violet. Anyone who knows me knows any excuse I have to just put in a little bit of violet, I will do it. There we go. I'll stop there. And the violet stains, so it really sticks on your brush, especially if it's a cheaper brush. Just touch that up there. Okay, so what else am I going to do? Let's do the boat. So I'm going to come up with, I'm going to use my violet. This is pathetic. This isn't how you should paint, but I'm going to today Go like this, get a nice petal, and I'm going to be using, because I have a thin layer now, my layer on top needs to be thicker. So I'm going into a color called quinacridone gold and violet dioxazine. That's what I call it. I'm not sure if that's what it's really called, but. And I'm going to make a brown. Oh, this is such bad behavior. All right, and I'm going to come in, and I've already drawn this little boat, so I'm just going to come in like this. Whoops, went a little further than I wanted. That's okay. I'll rinse my brush and I'll just turn it into the wake like that. I'll come in, add a little blue like that, and rinse my brush. The thing about cheap brushes though is they don't rinse very well, and they drop water funny and stuff. But that's okay, it works. And I come to my little boat, and we need a pole or a happy little boat. Down we come, la la la. Okay, I don't know about that top piece. There. Okay, so now we can put a couple waves in. Like that. It's okay that you drag some of the color out. Maybe it's a little reflection in the water. How cool is that? And we can come in with a little bit of that nice orange or permanent rose if you want. And as things go off in the distance, there will be a few little pinks or yellow. And this is just supposed to be a simple, fun project. I could take and maybe wet. I could also darken down here as well, but let's just keep it simple today. I'm gonna wet my beautiful sail and just let it sit a bit for a minute. Let's see. So this is when you can really mess up a painting. It's kind of like the end where you put in a little more than you should. And keep it simple, Sam, is probably the better way to go. But I don't usually do that. Isn't that nice? Look at that, just dropping in. Don't want it to be perfectly straight, and then just rinsing my brush, tap, and softening that line out. There, and the sail, what should we do? Let's make it, we'll put a little pink in there maybe. I love pink too. And let's come into a little bit of Aureolin yellow, like that, and touch, and a little bit of pink again. I don't know, I think, oops, put water in there. I think that's a wrap. Thank you very much.